Radio check.
Alright. We wait now for the lights here in France at the Circuit de Paul Ricard, or Paul Ricard, as you would say in French. And Fittipaldi was on the front line, but I think Prost might have gotten a better start. We'll see how they go into turn 1 here as Ross Cheever is challenging into turn 1. Oh, and there's a shunt. There's a shunt by Ayrton Senna, and Prost goes off. Prost goes off in turn 1. So disaster for Prost, as Emerson Fittipaldi now runs away with it, and Ross Cheever in second, so I'm sure that will be investigated. Was it Senna or was it Satoru Nakajima that had that issue? But anyway, Emerson Fittipaldi now streaking ahead, and he's gotten off to a good start. And now in second place, Ross Cheever. This race standing in for Keiji Matsumoto. His first time to show what he's got for Minardi, and he's off to a great start so far. Take a look further back. Stefan Johansson in 10th. We'll see here. Fittipaldi still leading, and Hoshino now side by side with Mario Andretti as they go down the straightaway. Let's see who comes out ahead. I think it will possibly, yes, it will be Mario Andretti. We know the Minardi very quick on the straightaway. And Hoshino is trying his best now. He might be able to come back here at Mario Andretti. But let's see here. Pulls out of the slipstream. Will he have enough power though to keep it alongside? Yes, he does. Then we go through Courbe de Cygne and then down to Double Droite du Beauset. And he is ahead now in 8th position. And in second now we have Ross Cheever still trying to stay with Emerson Fittipaldi. Prost down in 7th, of course. There's a bit of a fight there. I see. Ooh, there's people going off track. Kazoyoshi Hoshino. Let's hope he hasn't stalled the car. So Kazoyoshi Hoshino for Ligier. Let's see. Oh no, he's stalled. He's stuck in the gravel pit, I must say, not stalled. Stuck in the gravel pit, so that will be the end of the race for Kazuyoshi Hoshino for Ligier, unfortunately. Meanwhile, the two Williams fighting as well. They go into turn 1. They slot in behind each other. At the same time, I think Thierry Boutsen has also retired for Zach Speed. Oh, both of them went off in the same corner. But that is very unfortunate. If there's any big battles going on, Roberto Moreno now has gotten past Satoru Nakajima and is now trying to chase down Ayrton Senna. As they head into the last two corners, being Virage de la Tour and Virage du Pont. See if he can get a good exit here. Oh no, he doesn't. Nakajima gets a better run out of the corner, and let's see if Moreno can stay ahead. See here into turn 1. Oh, Moreno actually locks up a little bit, which allows Nakajima to come through pretty easily. And let's see, further back, there's some battles going on between Johansson and Nelson Piquet from Benetton. Johansson comes out ahead into P10, so Piquet in 11th, and now he'll be immediately under attack by Mika Hakkinen. Hakkinen actually suffering a I think it was an engine fire during qualifying, I think. But he has made his way up into P11 now in front of Piquet, and obviously the Benetton doing pretty well in qualifying, but still seemingly having a big power deficit to most other teams. And yeah, they're struggling on the straightaways. Meanwhile, Jeff Lees and Jeff Brabham from Williams still struggling at the back here. We have Eddie Cheever behind them as well. Going into turn 1 here, we have Bernd Schneider, in front of Al Unser Jr. for Tyrrell. Bernd in 16th place. Meanwhile, we have Senna in 3rd, seemingly not being able to keep up with Ross Cheever. So Ross Cheever here really showing his pace now to Team DAS Martijn de Knecht. As he's not quite keeping up with the Ferrari of Fittipaldi, but he's doing a really good job in that very heavy Minardi. And look at the straightaway. Look at how much of a gap it pulls compared to the Lotus of Senna behind. And we have here 2 more going side by side. Alain Prost now is making his way back up the field, and he's just gotten past Roberto Moreno, but we might see Moreno here coming back at him on the straightaway. Here comes Moreno. He's gonna pull out of the slipstream as they head up to Curva de Signa. Moreno is gonna pull alongside and ahead again. Alain Prost will be stuck for a little bit longer. And Senna now trying to chase down Ross Cheever ahead. Quite a short lap here at Paul Ricard. They're about, let's actually check the lap times here. So yeah, the best time right now, Ayrton Senna with a 10.580. So actually half a second faster than Fittipaldi. Moreno now again being overtaken by Prost, but I'm sure Moreno will come back along the straights. And last time around, let's see how fast they were going. So yeah, Ross Cheever with a 11.4, pretty much matching Senna up to a couple thousands. And now Moreno once again into Curva de Signa and then into Double Droite, the Beauset. He is gonna get ahead. But this is gonna be a very long tangle, it seems, here with Alain Prost. And I'm sure Prost would like to get past a bit sooner here. And oh no, transmission issue for Mario Andretti. So very unfortunate, but once again for the Minardi boys, Mario Andretti is gonna drop out here, and well, it's just a big shame. Oh yeah, our first retirement because of a technical issue here, and it's gonna be a transmission failure for Mario Andretti, unfortunately. Oh, let's see, once again, there has been a collision between Moreno and Prost, I think. So maybe that will be investigated, but now the field has to come through. Let's see if they can both get rolling again, though. So let's see here, Moreno gets out ahead in front of Prost. But it's been a bit of a nightmare race for Prost here. A collision between Moreno and Prost now all the way at the back of the field of all the running cars. Meanwhile, Emerson Fittipaldi slowly extending that lead, while Ross Cheever seemingly being caught by Senna, although the gap stays around a second or so. Meanwhile, we do have Michael Andretti, with a bit of a lockup and nearly went into the gravel there, but he does well to keep it out of that gravel. That could be a disaster, because a lot of the times going into the gravel means a potential stall, and that could very much be missed by Michael Andretti, as Andretti now pulls it along to the inside of Nigel Mansell, who just went ahead of him. They go side by side through S de l'École, and Mansell pulls ahead, but actually runs into the gravel. So Mansell will now get passed by the 3 cars ahead of him, which will be Schneider, Unser Jr., and René Arnoux, who are going 3 wide almost into Groupe de Signes. But Bernd Schneider doing a really good job getting ahead of them. And he's now in 11th place. Meanwhile, now I do want to keep an eye on Ross Cheever and Ayrton Senna here, because Senna is definitely getting closer here on lap 10. Let's see now if Senna can maybe use the toe of that Minardi in front to pull him along a little bit. You can again see that Minardi just pulling a big gap on the straightaway, even to the likes of the Lotus and such. So you wouldn't consider the Lotus and cars like the Ferrari and the McLaren to be exactly slow on the straight. So just see the big difference there. But then you can see as well that Senna makes up a lot of time through these fast swinging corners here. That's where the Minardi isn't as strong. You see he closes right up then. Oh, and here comes Senna then. He's gonna pull alongside, but I don't think he will have the straight line speed, as Cheever will pull ahead again. Senna goes into the slipstream. Will he try something? No, he won't. But he is much closer than he has been before. So let's see if he can now try something in the slipstream. Closing up, closing up, closing up. He will pull outside of the slipstream. Let's see on the inside. Oh, but that Minardi is so fast on the straightaway. And now trouble for Al Unser Jr. in the Tyrrell. So very unlucky here for the Tyrrell squad, as Unser Jr. will have to retire here, I assume. So yeah, it's not been a great run for the Tyrrell boys, although not all their retirements have come from mechanical issues. There's been just straight up DNFs from collisions and such, and mistakes as well. So I don't think they have to worry too much, but obviously it's unfortunate to see Hunter Jr. dropping out so early in the race. I'm sure he'll pull his car off to the side somewhere. Let's see. Meanwhile, we have Alain Prost catching back up to that big field ahead of him, and so does Moreno. So Moreno here now onto the back of Eddie Cheever. And he will now try his best to get past, so let's see. Pulls alongside, but does Cheever have slipstream of the Benetton in front? No, he does not, so Moreno gets past pretty easily. And it seems like Moreno is really on a mission now with that collision with Prost. He is He is looking to carve his way through the field pretty quickly here and make short work of these cars in front. Let's once again just follow along here as Senna closing up on Cheever once again. Pulls alongside. Is he far enough alongside? No, he's not. As he slots in again behind Ross Cheever. So Senna does seem to be faster, but he can't get past on the straightaway, and that's what's making him lose a lot of time, because this section is really hard to get past. So Cheever just being able to stay ahead with that absolute unit of an engine in the back. I don't know why the standings has turned the way it did, so we'll just have to read those off as they are right now, because I don't know why the black box disappeared, as that's a bit clearer, but... so Fabi under attack now by Satoru Nakajima, and it squeezes him to the inside. Let's see here, he does manage to stay ahead. And we'll follow Fabi here now, and let's see if Nakajima can actually try something on a straightaway here. As he's in the slipstream, he pulls along. Pulls alongside, and he does get the overspeed, so Nakajima now up into 5th place. Or in 4th place, actually. Fabi is in 5th place now, so yeah. Kind of hard to read at some points here. Very well done by Nakajima, but I think this will be a bit of a scrap between these two guys as well. As you can see, Fabi is sticking right onto the back of that gearbox of Nakajima. As we have 18 runners remaining. And Fabi once again will try on the straightaway here. And that Ferrari doing really well on the straights. Oh, and a bit of a squeeze there by Ayrton Senna, as he does get past Cheever. And I think it was a fairly fair move. Cheever just got a bit spooked there and ran off the track. But Cheever now down to 3rd place, obviously still very nice, and we might see him be able to catch up to Senna in a little bit here. And Fabi now has managed to create a little bit of distance between him and Nakajima. Also take a look back here as Michael Andretti for Tyrrell is in 9th place. He's doing fairly well here today. Getting inside that top 10. He does have the likes of Bernd Schneider and Mika Hakkinen right behind him. They're fairly close. Both in the 2-second range. But yeah, the Tyrrell not running bad here today. But some of the other teams following closely. And then in the meanwhile, let's see here, Jeff Lees, the first of the two Williamses is in 14th place, so actually not too bad for the Williams, as they're usually expected to be in the rear at this point. But yeah, actually doing fairly well here in 14th. And ooh, issue here for Stefan Johansson. So Stefan Johansson with an electrical issue, and he will have to come into the pits. We will lose a bit of time. I don't think he's quite inside the pit stop range. And ooh, there's someone in the gravel pit. Roberto Moreno. Oh no. So let's see, can he get it going again? No, it doesn't seem like it. So Roberto Moreno also going off into the gravel pit, and after that calamity at the start of the race, he's thrown it completely away now, and we won't see him finish here today. He's desperately trying to get that car out of the gravel, but I think he's dug himself in. So not a great day for the Aero squad so far, with Johansson now having an issue and having to repair that in the pits. But at least he can keep running. And so far, dominating performance here by Emerson Fittipaldi as he comes across the line to start lap 18 out of 80. And Ayrton Senna, you can see in the distance there. Let's actually check their last laps. So Fittipaldi and Senna are really close on pace. Does actually look like Senna might be a tad bit faster, but not enough to really catch Fittipaldi by a whole lot. So Fittipaldi managing his pace well. And Ross Cheever is only a little bit slower. Moreno is still trying to get running for some reason. I'm not sure. Oh, and who goes off there? That's Nakajima. It's Nakajima now stuck as well, I think. Oh, he is still slightly moving. So I think Nakajima might actually be able to get out of the gravel pit eventually. But I think Moreno is going to get lifted out. You can see he's moving very slightly. Oh no, he's going to be carried away as well. So Nakajima out of this race as well, which means we're going to be down to 16 runners after 20 laps. So high attrition rate here. It's a very high speed circuit, and a lot of the drivers making mistakes now. So we'll see here the headless Nakajima heading over to the barriers as he'll be lifted over them. There he goes. Let's focus on some of the battles if we can find them. Everyone's kind of spread out a little bit. There's a fight going on here between Cheever and Jeff Lees. As Jeff Lees gets through, Cheever with a runs a bit hard or deep into the corner, and has now made that mistake, which makes him vulnerable to Stefan Johansson, who comes alongside on the straightaway. Let's see if Johansson can pull off the move. Johansson will have to put in a big recovery race here if he wants to get something out of it, but he's on fresh rubber right now. So he is in a good position to chase down the cars in front. Oh, and another mistake here, Michael Andretti. Michael Andretti in the gravel pit. He does seem to be able to get the car going. Let's hope he doesn't collide with anyone here. As the, yeah, more cars coming through, and Andretti does get the car running again. So he'll be going still. As he actually runs wide again. So a bit flustered here, Andretti. More cars coming through. He's waiting still. That's the leader, so very smart of Andretti to wait. There's more traffic coming through. Hopefully he gets it going here, but he's a bit flustered, I think. There he goes now. He's off again, but that drops him all the way down the back of the grid, and not a great day for Tyrrell here, as that was two mistakes by Michael Andretti in a very short space of time. Meanwhile, Ivan Capelli has moved himself inside the points in P5. 26 seconds behind the leader. And Alain Prost now overtaking Bernd Schneider. So Prost really trying to make his way up, as Schneider is actually going to fight back here. Prost holds it around the outside, but Schneider might be able to hold on. No, he will not. Alain Prost just a lot faster through the corners. And Prost back up into 7th, and he will now try to chase down the point scorers ahead of him. Meanwhile, now Senna still in 2nd. Doesn't seem to be able to quite match Fittipaldi, as Fittipaldi is now drawing a bigger gap. So, see here, last lap time was actually faster for Senna, but still he's losing time. So, it is definitely the case that Fittipaldi seems to be a bit more consistent. And then a bit further back we have Cheever, and here's Nigel Mansell in 10th place. Trying to chase down Mika Hakkinen in front. He's about 2.5 seconds ahead of him there, as you can see in the forefront. And there in the background comes Stefan Johansson, who's desperate to make up some time as well. Oh, and we have more issues for Jeff Brabham. So Jeff Brabham with an electrical issue, as he's being chased down here by the likes of Fittipaldi and René Arnoux, I think. So Fittipaldi will come through first. Oh, he has to be careful here, because Jeff Brabham might be slower than he expects him to be. So Fittipaldi gets through, and will René Arnoux get through? Yeah, René Arnoux is gonna inherit 14th position here, as Jeff will have to come into the pits. And now an engine issue for Theo Fabi. I believe where is he? Oh, here he is. So Theo Fabi in the Ferrari pulling off to the side, unfortunately. And was running well inside the points, but now, unfortunately, will pull off to the side of the track, and that's one retirement for Ferrari. At the same time, Mika Hakkinen has also must have gone off the track somewhere or had some kind of issue, but he's now out of the race as well. So, again, a lot of attrition here, and we'll be down to 14 runners now, I believe, after 24 laps. So, oh, here he is, Mika Hakkinen. Pushed off the track, so I think he got stuck in the gravel trap as well. Yeah, a lot of trouble for some of these drivers with this, the nature of this high-speed circuit here. And that does mean now, if we look down the order, we have again a Zach Speed in 7th place. We have a March in 8th, and the Arrows in 9th. So again, good point scoring opportunities here for a lower place team. We know, for instance, Zach Speed, they're in 7th in the constructors right now, and well, March, they are in 10th. They've only scored a single point this season. They are definitely looking to capitalize on any mistakes that the cars ahead make. And obviously, a single point could do them worlds of good. The only team that hasn't scored a point so far is Williams. Williams with 0 points. March has 1 single point. Then comes Benetton in 9th with 4 points. Tyrrell has 7 points in 8th. Zack Speed has 8 points in 7th. Lotus has 9 points in 6th. Arrows has 13 in 5th. Then comes Minardi with 15 points. Third is Ligier with 28 points, so a big gap there between 3rd and 4th. Then Ferrari with 30 points, and McLaren at the top with 35 points. So it's a close fight between the top 3, and then it's another really close fight between, well, 4th up until 8th or so. Because they're only 8 points. There's only 8 points difference between those guys. And then at the back we have Benetton, March, and Williams, who are scrapping for the single points and hoping to emerge ahead of each other by the end of the season. And there's someone else that went into the gravel trap. Rene Arnoux now is also a victim of the gravel trap. But he is trying to get out, so we might actually see him get out. But no, the marshal is coming over, so they will remove him from the track. So yeah, very unfortunate for Arnoux there, as he will be pushed back. Meanwhile now, Jeff Lees being overtaken by our leader Emerson Fittipaldi, so by the looks of it, we won't have a lot of finishers here today. People are really struggling here at Paul Ricard. Ayrton Senna now actually slowly closing up to Emerson Fittipaldi, but that could also be because of the traffic. So Fittipaldi having to work his way through a lot of the back markers, while I think Senna still has to come up to them. And Senna, of course, and the entire Lotus squad has been plagued by reliability issues, as they've struggled the entire season to get any points. There's been a single win by Senna, which was decided off track by the stewards, and that's the only points that Lotus have scored. Have been very important because it still puts them 6th in the constructors, but they really need to find some solution to those reliability issues they've been having, because at this rate, other teams are gonna outdevelop them, and they might be towards the back of the constructors by the end of the season. Keeps going like this. And Minardi pretty much in the same boat. Their finishes have been few and far between. They've always shown pretty good pace, but yeah, just struggling to see out the end of the race. And maybe with Ross Cheever here today, he might be able to do that, but we'll hold our breath, of course. Meanwhile, now we have Alain Prost trying to fight back. He's 42 seconds or so behind the leader, and he's trying to catch up to Nelson Piquet. Well, let's see what the last laps were. So Prost has done an 11-1. So yeah, Prost is considerably faster than the 3 cars ahead of him, being Cheever, Capelli, and Piquet. So it is very likely that by the end of the race, Prost will be ahead of all 3 of them. But he has a very long way to go until he reaches Ross Cheever. Capelli and Piquet are within reach. But yeah, Cheever will be a very hard task, I think, to catch by the end of the race. Compare lap times a bit more. I just want to see here how Stefan Johansson is doing. So Johansson has done a 12-2. Is actually matching, well, third or fourth place. So he's gonna definitely be able to catch Bernd Snyder and Nigel Mansell. I'm quite sure of that, but other than that, I think he has to hope for some dropouts. Let's see if we can find Stefan Johansson as he chases down Nigel Mansell. So let's follow him around for a little bit. Definitely catching by quite a lot here, Johansson. That Arrow's car is a bit more potent than the March in front. And he is now close to a second behind Mansell, I think. We might see an overtake happen here in the next 1 or even 2 laps. As they come to the end through S2 Village, then Virage de la Tour, and then Virage de Dupont. Last corner being a very, very slow corner. Oh, and let's see now, further back, Jeff Lees in the Williams is gonna pull off here with a transmission issue. So yeah, the reliability issues keep coming for Williams, and yeah, they're usually just looking to finish a race and not be at the back. But yeah, unfortunately Jeff Lees now out of the race, and that means we're down to 12 runners, and we're not even halfway through the race. So Prost now into P5 as he's gotten past Nelson Piquet, and his next target will be Ivan Capelli, his teammate. And let's see here, Stefan Johansson now right onto the back of Eddie Cheever, and he will pull alongside now on the straightaway. So Stefan Johansson for the Arrows is doing good work here. Pulls to the inside. Let's see here what happens. He will pull ahead before the straightaway, which is called Ligne Droite du Mistral. And let's see if Mansell can come back at him here, because he will, of course, have some slipstream, but I do think Johansson might be picking up a little bit of slipstream of Nigel Mansell in front. Oh, but they go side by side, and who comes out ahead? It will be Nigel Mansell. Stefan Johansson glued on that gearbox now. As they're coming up to Jeff Brabham here, who is a back marker. And now Stefan Johansson once again up the inside as he will try to get past, and actually Mansell getting boxed in a little bit by Jeff Brabham. Now we will see here as Stefan Johansson now also gets a little bit of slipstream. Eddie Cheever will pull ahead. See here, he's on the inside again. And once again, he pulls ahead of Stefan Johansson. A good battle here between the Leighton House March and Arrows. Let's see now, Johansson once again right on that gearbox, and he'll probably pull alongside again. Yes, he does. It's a good exit, but not good enough, as Mansell pulls ahead. He's gonna squeeze him to the inside. Oh, that's a big squeeze, and let's see. Mansell does manage to stay ahead for now. Maybe on a straightaway here. If Johansson can manage anything. No, it doesn't seem like it. That March has decent straight line speed. And in the background you can see our leader, Emerson Fittipaldi, as he comes in to lap the likes of Johansson, Mansell and Bernd Schneider. So far doing a very good job here. Fittipaldi and Ferrari's car really working wonders here at Paul Ricard. Laren and Prost's car also working fairly well, but obviously he had that issue at the start of the race, that collision, and that has made him drop back all the way down the field. We now see Johansson trying once again. So he goes up the inside. Yes, he does. Further back, Fittipaldi now getting through the back marker of Jeff Brabham. And now it does seem Johansson has gotten clear of Mansell behind him. Now he can push on and push towards Schneider and possibly PK, which would be an insane recovery race if he manages to push all the way up to PK again. As there's now pit calls coming in, and the first one we see is for Michael Andretti here in the Tyrrell. So he'll be doing an early pit stop, Andretti. And let's hope he can undercut some of the other cars and try to fight back towards the likes of Cheever and Mansell and Johansson.
Pit at the end of this lap.
Andretti's actually lapping pretty well. He's just obviously had some misfortune throughout the race. And now other cars, Fittipaldi and Senna, both getting their pit calls as well. Andretti will pull in here. As the Lotus squad is also standing by for Senna. And in comes, I think that is PK as well for Benetton. Here, pretty long pit stop for Andretti. Obviously he has to take a lot of fuel here to make it till the end, I think. Let's see, yeah, 21 seconds, so very heavy fuel load here for Andretti. And Fittipaldi and Senna and such shouldn't be very much of a difference, so let's see if there's any difference between Lotus and Lotus and Ferrari here when it comes to pit stops. Not that much of a difference. Slightly faster for Senna there. About 6-7 tenths or so. In the meanwhile, now here comes Alain Prost, who alongside Ayrton Senna. Prost obviously still has to make a pit stop. It might not be all bad for Senna, as he will get a good tow here down the straightaway. Senna now pulls alongside. I'm sure he'll be a lot faster here through the last sector as Prost is on old tires. Oh, but Prost is actually going to send it up the inside. Wow. I didn't expect that one. So Prost actually proving me wrong there. You still have some life left on those tires. Obviously, Senna maybe on those fresh tires, maybe having some cold tires there, and that's why Prost was a little bit faster there, perhaps. As Prost will now come into the pits as well, so... But there he goes. In comes Prost, and we'll keep an eye on how long that pit stop takes. That does mean Senna has lost quite a bit of time, and we're still waiting for the likes of Ross Cheever to pit, as he seems to be going for an overcut, so he's electing to go on a bit fresher tires and a bit of a lower fuel load for the second half of his race. So Prost comes out now in 6th position, but obviously he still has Bernd Schneider and Johansson that had to pit in front of him, so he will move back to a... actually... Yeah, because Johansson still has to pit because he had that issue early on, and then Capelli possibly also have to pit, I'm not sure. But anyway, Prost now getting very close to his teammates, being Capelli. It seems like Schneider and Ross Cheever are perfectly cutting the race in half. I think down the next straightaway, Prost should be able to get past his teammate. Schneider comes into the pit now. And we're only waiting for Eddie Cheever and Ross Cheever to make their pit stop. Both the Cheever brothers. Fast stop there for Zach Speed, about a second and a half faster than we've seen from the other cars. And now Ross Cheever into the pits as well. Prost getting closer and closer to his teammates. And I'm sure we will see an overtake here fairly shortly. Would put Prost back into P5. So here comes Prost now. Up the inside. Seem to have gotten a good run. Let's see here, will Capelli hold on? No, he will just slot in behind his senior teammate. And this now releases Prost again, and he's on the hunt now for Stefan Johansson. I do think Johansson still has to pit once more. In that case, he will be on the hunt for Ross Cheever. Nelson Piquet still in 7th place. See how his lap times are compared to even Capelli. Yeah, Piquet 12.5 last lap. So let's see actually once he comes up to the line here what the difference is between him and Capelli and if he has any chance to catch him. Yeah, 2/10 faster that lap for PK, so he has an opportunity to catch Capelli here, perhaps. But I'm not sure if he will be able to do that by the end of the race. It's only a very marginal gain. Meanwhile, Prost now even gaining on Fittipaldi in the lead. He's really flying through the track every lap. And we'll also do a little comparison. Those two cars. As Emerson's last lap was a 11.8. See what Prost does here as he comes across the line. Yeah, Prost an 11.2, which is about 6/10 faster. By that accord, he definitely shouldn't be able to catch Fittipaldi here. But he is going to give a bit of trouble to possibly Ross Cheever. And you can see he's getting closer to Stefan Johansson here. And now Prost up the inside of Capelli. Or not Capelli, Stefan Johansson, sorry. And he's gonna try here as Johansson squeezes him, but they almost make contact there. But Prost is just able to squeeze by. But we might see Johansson come back here on the straightaway in the slipstream. And yes, he does. So Johansson clearly not ready to give up that fight. I do wonder now if Johansson has already made a full pit stop, because it says he made a pit stop, but that was for an issue, I believe. So it will be interesting to see if he makes another pit stop this race. Now again, I think we will see Prost trying to come up the inside here. Yes, he will try to. Does he get better drive? Not quite, as he has to slot in behind Johansson. So the Arrows car really putting some good power out. As big collision now. Collision between Prost and Johansson. Johansson in the gravel now. So that will possibly have to be investigated as Prost locked up there into the back of Johansson. And there comes Michael Andretti and Nelson Piquet. So Johansson in the gravel. He does get going again. So very unfortunate there for Johansson. Was doing a very good job before Prost hit him. And in the meanwhile, Ayrton Senna once again doing a really good job in the car he's given. He's hanging on so far, and that's been the entire race. He has been within 5 or 6 seconds of Fittipaldi. He's been able to match Fittipaldi for most of the race here, but obviously doesn't have quite enough pace to close that gap. And we have Ross Cheever here also doing a very good job in 3rd place, as he's, well, still 22 seconds ahead of Prost. So he has quite a bit of margin to work with. Now let's see if we can compare lap times. So yeah, Ross Cheever actually... Let's see... Yeah, so Ross Cheever actually doing similar times to Prost, and only very marginally slower than the likes of Fittipaldi and Senna. So let's see here what Prost does, as I do think Prost had a bit of traffic last lap, but we'll see here. Prost comes across the line, let's see, 11-1, so yeah, about 7 tenths or so. Which we'll have to see if that's enough for Prost to catch up to Cheever by the end of the race. But I think as long as Ross manages to keep his pace up, he should be fine. Might be close towards the end though. Senna catching up to the back of Bernd Schneider. And he'll probably pass him with slipstream here. Let's see. Maybe not quite. And Fittipaldi still managing that gap. And we'll see here. Yes, Bernd Schneider letting Senna through. And that would have been a good little tow down the straight for Senna this time around, as they head through the quite technical last section. This is Le Pingle de Bendor. And then Fittipaldi still doing a great job leading from the front. And with about 30 or so laps to go, we're almost 10 laps over the halfway mark, but still plenty of racing to do. Again, we look at Cheever here, who's doing a fantastic job for Minardi so far. And if Cheever does manage to finish in the points here, he does have some good, he will create a good buffer for Minardi to Arrows. Because the gap between Minardi and Arrows is just 2 championship points at this point in time, so it would be very welcomed, I think, by the Minardi squad to grab some points here, as he goes up the inside of Jeff Brabham. Oh, and more issues towards the back of the field here. Eddie Cheever has to come in. He was right at the pit stop when he got his issue, his throttle issue. Cheever has to make an extra pit stop. He will get some fresh rubber to push with though, so that might benefit his lap times quite a bit. But yeah, unfortunate race here for Eddie Cheever. Oh, and there we go, I think. Yeah, so Stefan Johansson now getting his pit call. He was catching up to Nelson Piquet, but obviously we did know Piquet or Johansson had that issue early on, which had to see him come into the pits, and now he will have to come in again to fuel up the car. He will have very fresh tires, so we'll keep an eye on what kind of lap times he can pull off with tires that only have to go about 28 laps, and then obviously he'll be on a way lower fuel load, so those tires will be able to carry that speed for a lot longer. As the tires won't deteriorate that fast, but let's see how long that pit stop is gonna be, and let's see if he has any chance of catching PK for some points at the end. Comes in now, perfect timing for Emerson Fittipaldi, as he won't have to lap the quite fast arrows. Let's see now how long this pit stop is gonna take. I'm guessing 15 or so seconds, possibly, maybe a bit faster. $13.7, so still a pretty good stop there. And now we'll have to keep an eye on his times, as Jeff Brabham is incoming there, but as Stefan now should have a lot of grip to push with. And let's see if he can fight his way back up to Nelson Piquet. We'll keep an eye on his lap times, the coming laps, and see if there is any possibility, as I think was about 4 seconds behind PK when he came into the pits, 4 to 5 seconds. And he's lost obviously another, let's say 20 or so with the pit entrance and exit. So yeah, realistically he's gonna have to be about a second faster than PK. We'll keep an eye on that. In the meanwhile, it definitely doesn't seem like Prost has the pace to catch up to Ross Cheever so far. And again, the gap between Fittipaldi and Senna is 5.5 seconds, but the gains are very marginal for Senna. But I don't think we'll see them fighting unless something happens to Fittipaldi. I think it's actually, yeah, let's see there. So Ross Cheever is actually matching the top 3 now, or the top 2, I should say. So he's matching Senna and Fittipaldi for their time. So very good job there for a first outing. And yeah, I'm sure again Martin de Knecht will be very pleased with Cheever's performance. And Schneider now pretty much on his own, as he's trying to catch PK as well, but that's gonna be a tough ask, I think. Not sure how far he is behind. of Nelson PK because he's in that weird zone where he's a lap behind and PK isn't. I think PK will soon be a lap behind. As you can see, Fittipaldi in the background there. So let's see here. So Stefan Johansson is lapping about a second faster than the cars in front of him. So 2 seconds faster than Nigel Mansell, or 1.5 seconds. So does have a good chance here of actually catching up the likes of PK towards the end. We'll keep an eye on that. So yeah, Johansson, very good pace here on those fresh tires. We'll just keep following him around here. If he can catch up to Nigel Mansell in front. Take a look as well. The best lap so far is being posted by Ayrton Senna. Emerson Fittipaldi has been more consistent, but Senna has been able to pull off a faster lap, possibly with a little bit of slipstream, I'm guessing. It's Prost and Fittipaldi's lap times not far behind. Getting closer and closer now, Johansson. It'll only be about a lap or two, I think, until he reaches the back of Mansell's car. Might be even a lot sooner here, might be in the coming lap. As he is just carrying a lot more speed with those tires. He might actually have a good opportunity here down the next straightaway, down Ligne Droite du Mistral. And that might give him a good tow to launch him onto the attack to Bernd Schneider. Not quite close enough this time around, I don't think. Here he comes now, right onto the back of Mansell, as Mansell actually makes a little bit of a mistake there. It was a bit wide. Probably a bit flustered by Johansson showing up in his rearview mirror. Johansson now right onto the back there. And he will pull alongside of the Leitenhaus March. And he is gonna make quite an easy move off of this one, but I think Mansell is trying to fight back here. So let's see. Mansell is gonna send it up the inside. And Johansson has to lift a little bit. See here, Johansson now in the slipstream. We'll try to go past once again. Let's see if he can pull off the move this time. He has the inside for the next corner. And yes, he actually pulls fully past Mansell, and now he will probably start pulling away quite quickly. And yes, he does. So his next target, Bernd Schneider. Let's see where he is up the road. He's still quite a bit ahead. So he's going into the last corner now. Then comes Cheever. And then only comes Stefan Johansson. So Johansson still, I would say, a good 10-15 seconds behind Bernd Schneider. Great recovery race for Johansson, must be said. And with a little bit of luck here today, he might be able to still salvage some points, but he's gonna need a lot of luck. Actually, not only a little bit, he's gonna need a lot of luck to salvage something here today. Meanwhile, Ross Cheever still hanging about 20 seconds back or so from our leader. And yeah, just managing his car fairly well. While Johansson is trying to fight his way back to Bernd Schneider. As you can see there in the background is Johansson, and then in the foreground is Bernd Schneider. Yeah, still safe to say that Bernd still has a good position here. And it will take an immense performance from Johansson to catch up. But everything is possible, of course. Check the last laps again. Oh, Johansson actually starting to slow down a bit. Seems like those fresh tires are starting to wear off as he's starting to lap a bit slower now, only about half a second faster. Obviously, with a lot of straightaways, it seems that teams are going for all for one stops. When they're not forced to go for a two stop, of course. But yeah, they're seems like the wear isn't too harsh and they can run for longer periods of time. I think Alain Prost has started to kick his car into a new gear as he's gaining a good 4 to 6 tenths every lap now on Cheever. Again, I don't think it'll be enough. Might be close at the end, but yeah, we'll have to see. I'll actually keep following Ross Cheever around here to see when he comes up to Bernd Schneider in front. But once again, Schneider actually still driving for Zach Speed. He has taken place, he has taken a seat of Patrick de Wolf for the time being, and well, I think Eddie Sum, the manager of Zach Speed, isn't too displeased with what he sees, because Schneider has put in a couple good performances now. Even though it hasn't always led to points, he's definitely put himself out there, Schneider, and yeah, doing a very solid job. And obviously, Zach Speed, a team with limited resources, they're doing the best they can, and well, doing a quite good job at it. Now, the team Minardi is coming up to the Zach speed here. Obviously, Minardi in quite a good position compared to Zach speed. 4th in the constructors compared to 7th Zach speed, and obviously you'll see here and the immense speed of the Minardi as they come past the Zach speed. I'm sure Schneider won't be giving that Minardi too hard of a time, as we can see there. And maybe he'll be able to get a little bit of slipstream down the straight here. Will in turn help his race again. And let's see now. While I get a drink here, as my voice is slowly starting to give up, we'll go on board for a couple of laps with our leader Emerson Fittipaldi, and I'll be right back in a couple of laps. And we are back as Emerson Fittipaldi just passes Eddie Cheever there in the march. Start lap 68. And actually Ayrton Senna gaining bit by bit there. You can see him in the background, so not that big of a difference between the two, but enough for Fittipaldi here to keep going. And obviously for Lotus, this would be a massive victory again, as if Senna manages to keep up this performance, it will obviously grant him 6 points in the one in the driver standings, which 6 points for him would put him up into 4th, I believe, 5th or 4th, past Roberto Moreno. And obviously very important for Lotus to get some points as well, as 6 points for Lotus would mean that they would draw even with Minardi, even though Minardi right now is in a position to score points, but Lotus would move up from let's see, they would move up from 6th into 5th past Arrows at this point in time, with Stefan Johansson not scoring any points. So yeah, pretty important for Lotus here to keep this going and score some points, and maybe that would free up some extra budget for the Lotus squad, and they'll be able to work on that reliability a bit, make them finish a bit more races. But obviously, this is only the 7th round out of 16, so we're not even halfway yet, so the teams have a lot of time to adjust strategies and figure out what they want to do the rest of the season. I'm sure the Ferrari squad right now will be delighted, as this victory would mean, at the moment, I think Prost will score 3 points, which would put McLaren on 38 points, while Ferrari would score 9, which would put them on 39 points. So again, very close fight between McLaren and Ferrari, and well, it surely is a very tense battle at the top of the standings. And obviously, Ligier isn't far behind, even though they had a double DNF here today. That customer Ferrari team isn't doing a bad job at all. And we didn't see any significant upgrade package for Ligier this time around, so quite curious, as they had some really good finishes in the past races. But yeah, no significant upgrades. We have seen some changes to the Ferrari and the McLaren. Yeah, Ferrari's upgrade package really doing them wonders here, as Fittipaldi is steaming ahead now with 9 laps to go. And in the meanwhile, let's see how Johansson is getting along. Sorry there. So yeah, Johansson now getting past Bernd Schneider on the start-finish straight, but Schneider will try to come back at him. Let's see here. Yeah, Schneider pulls alongside and will get ahead. Johansson's still right on the gearbox, and surely with the slipstream on the straightaway, Johansson will get ahead now. I can see Prost there in the background as well. So now Johansson alongside Bernd Schneider, and he will pull along and ahead for Curb de Signe. Now once again, I think we will see Johansson pull a bit of a gap here to Schneider behind him through this section. Oh, he actually makes a little bit of a mistake there, runs a bit wide. But again, I think he's made enough of a gap now to not be threatened by the Zag Speed anymore. And Zag Speed obviously has to let through Alain Prost now as well. Let's see how far Nelson Piquet is ahead. Yeah, he is almost on the end of the Mistral Straight, while let's see where Johansson is. He's only just starting the Mistral Straight, so he's definitely about 15 or so seconds still behind. So yeah, there's no way that he's gonna catch PK, so unfortunately Johansson will be landing just outside of the points at this point in time. But he's definitely put in a good effort to get there. Meanwhile, you see Prost edging closer and closer towards Ross Cheever. Let's see here how the last lap times are looking. So Prost with an 11.488 and Cheever with a 12.050. But you want to keep an eye here on Prost because he might have had some traffic last lap. I do just want to see if he might be going a little faster. No, okay, so not a massive difference between Cheever and Prost. So yeah, I think Cheever should be able to hold on here. So after the initial wave of reliability and people dropping out, it seems now the race has really settled down and well, it's a pretty good finishing number if it stays like this. I think it's one of the highest finishing numbers we've seen this season. So maybe some of those reliability upgrades coming into play for some of the teams. You know, of course, that reliability is a big issue this year, 1988, and seen some of the teams have really put in effort to negate those problems. But it is rare to see a double team finish for most teams. Because I think even today here, I'm thinking, is there a team that has two cars finishing? I don't even think so. Oh, maybe the Marches, right? March has Nigel Mansell and Eddie Cheever. Yeah, so March actually one of the only teams that might have a double finish here. We saw Ferrari do it once, and with a very spectacular one, being a 1-2 at Monaco. But yeah, the rest of the season has been pretty lean on a double team finish. Nelson Piquet still in a 6th place here. I think comparatively, let's take a look at his lap time. So a 13.3 was his last lap time, with Stefan Johansson doing a 12.6. So about 9 tenths, which is pretty significant, but not significant enough for Johansson to catch up. As you can see, he's only at the start of the Mistral Straight still. And Prost now in 4th place, so yeah. It does look like Ferrari might be taking the lead of the Constructors' Championship here. Actually, I might be wrong, because it's the first time that Capelli is inside the points. So Capelli might score 2 points here. That means McLaren will still edge ahead by, I believe, 1 point of Ferrari. Yeah, I didn't even take that in consideration, but yeah, Capelli is in the points, so if he does finishes this race, that's actually Is that the first double points finish for McLaren? Possibly? There might have been one other time they had a double point finish, but... yeah, I think David Brabham at some point scored some points. Maybe his first race or so. Yeah, let's actually go to Capelli. So yeah, Capelli in 5th place, so that does mean that... let me get this right, I think... yeah, that would mean 5 points for McLaren, so yeah, they would edge ahead by just 1 point in the Constructors' Championship, so... that's my bad. Yeah, McLaren's still looking at the lead of the Constructors' Championship, but obviously the margin will be so tiny between Ferrari and McLaren that it's... well, we've seen in the newspapers and several messages that have come out of the press that both Machihila and Pedro Diaz don't take a liking to each other. It's a fierce rivalry at the top. And Emerson Fittipaldi still doing a great job just maintaining that gap to Senna. Obviously, once again, Senna doing a fantastic job now as well, managing that car. And Senna with these, let's see, how many points is he gonna score? 6. That'll move him up into, yeah, I've mentioned this before, but that will move him up from 7th into 5th for the Drivers' Championship, so not too bad. Prost will still retain his lead. So Prost with an added 3 points will give him 36 points, while Fittipaldi will have a massive point gain, of course, with 9 points, so he'll move up to 25 points. And those 25 points is gonna move Fittipaldi into 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. A lap 79 here. 2 more laps to go for Fittipaldi. And Fittipaldi now starting his last lap here at Paul Ricard. He's been dominant throughout. Ferrari have brought a upgrade package that really works for them. And Fittipaldi now going down the Mistral Straight once more as he's looking to close out this race and grab a well-deserved 9 points for Ferrari here today. Curba de Signa, and and then through Double Droite de Busset, or Bosset, and then Le Pingle de Bendor. Now through Es du Village for the last time, then up to Virage de la Tour, and then down into the last corner, Virage du Pont. And Fittipaldi does come out on top here today, and Ferrari will grab another 9 points. So very well done for Fittipaldi. Then second comes Ayrton Senna with a finish for Lotus, so a rare finish for Lotus, but that will give them some well-deserved points. And then Eddie Cheever will come home in 10th, Nelson Piquet in 6th, and then the debutant for Minardi, Ross Cheever, with an incredible performance here today.
Well done.
On his debut, he gets an immediate podium position, so that'll really show his ability, and I'm sure Martin de Knecht has noticed. And Alain Prost, after a recovery race, comes back home in 4th place, while Stefan Johansson will come home in 7th. Andretti in 11th, Brabham in 12th, so one of the Williams finishing the race, which is good to see. Bernd Schneider in 8th, with again a really good performance for Zach Speed. Nigel Mansell in 9th for March, so not bad for March, definitely not a bad performance here today. And then Ivan Capelli coming across the line in 5th. So double point finish for McLaren, even though it is probably not what Pedro Diaz wanted from this race. It is good to see at least that Capelli gets his first points of the season to keep that Constructors' Championship lead intact for McLaren. And we'll soon go to the summary here. Let's see here. Obviously, Emerson Fittipaldi finishing the race in 1st. Then Ayrton Senna with his rare finish for Lotus, usually plagued by reliability, in 2nd. Ross Cheever, the debut for Minardi, in 3rd. Then Alain Prost in the McLaren in 4th, and another McLaren in 5th for Ivan Capelli. Then Nelson Piquet in 6th will score a single point for Benetton, which obviously will be crucial for them. 7th will be Johansson for the Arrows. And 7th to 10th will be Johansson, Schneider, Mansell, and Cheever, so they'll be getting a benefit of a bit more money as opposed to the finishers outside of the top 10. And March with a double finish, so 9th and 10th, which is good to see for them. Tyrrell and Andretti in 11th, both of the Williams in 12th and 13th, although Lees didn't finish and had a transmission issue. Rene Arnoux got stuck in a gravel trap somewhere for Benetton in 14th. Theo Fabi, unfortunately, an engine issue for the Ferrari, finished in 15th. Hakkinen in 16th, also a DNF. Satoru Nakajima out of the race very early as well for Lotus. In 18th, Roberto Moreno also out of the race as he was stuck in the gravel trap. Alonso Jr. with an engine issue in 19th. Mario Andretti with a transmission issue for Minardi. Then comes Hoshino, who was out very early together with Jerry Boutsen, as they, I believe, stranded in the same turn on the same lap with the DNF. So yeah, very interesting race, and it will see McLaren keep their Constructor Championship intact by just a point, and also we'll see Ayrton Senna shoot up the standings a bit more. So that has been our race here at Paul Ricard, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.